Last episode, Vancouver took down the Raptors by 32 points on the road at Scotiabank Arena to push our win streak to 6 games in a row. That also means that we are now second in the conference, a game and a half back from the San Antonio Spurs, and that is who we face today, both in our first sim game at home and the game that we're going to watch, another one on the road in San Antonio here on the 23rd of January. So without further ado, let's get right down to some simming. I don't want to waste any time here. And just a few games into the simming, Tyrese Halliburton, left knee tendinitis. He will miss 2 to 4 weeks. That is a pretty big injury. So who do we put in as the point guard now? Do we give Carney a starting shot? I think it's probably worth it. And in that case, I think we also bring either Pollard or Tyus Jones off the bench in his place. But I'll come back once those changes are officially made. Alright, so pretty much all I did was I gave all of Halliburton's minutes to Carney, and then I gave Carney's previous minutes all to Tyus Jones. Nothing else has changed. Just going to rock with this for probably a couple of weeks, and hopefully we do alright. And after just a couple of games, looks like Tyrese is back a little bit early, so we can put him back in the lineup. Should be easy enough. And just like that, we're back to full health. Let's keep going. Alright, so we have finally finished simming, and we have played well the last 10 games. We did lose a couple in the first batch, and we had some really close losses. We only had 4 in this entire stretch, and 3 of them were by 5 points or less, and we had 1 loss aside from those 3 that was more than that, which was a blowout to the Kings. But otherwise, we've had a really good stretch, but it honestly still hasn't mattered that much because we're still 3rd. The Warriors have now jumped ahead of us, and we are 2 games back from them, and we are now 3 games back from the Spurs, who are just 34-10, and they're off to a flying start. The Warriors have played 2 more games than they have, and they have 2 more losses as a result. We have 3 less wins and 3 more losses, so we have played the same amount of games as the Spurs have, just haven't done as well. So this game is going to be a big one for the running for the 1 seed because the Spurs are looking really hot out the gates before the All-Star break. And our first game of the simming stretch was against them at home, and we took them down by 4. Anderson drops 23, Don Payne had a good day. Same thing for Carney, while Bol shot poorly. The Spurs got a triple-double from Calvin Gordon, who dropped 12 assists. He didn't shoot very well, but still overall stuffed the stat sheet. And it looks like Tyrone Murphy had 19 and Gilgeous Alexander had 18. Is that Trey Murphy, actually? Yes, it is. I get those 2 guys mixed up a lot. And this was the blowout against the Kings that I was talking about. We got blown out in the first and fourth quarters, and it was even in the middle quarters for whatever reason. But we lose by like almost 40 points. Rookie Sylvester McNeil drops 28. Keegan Murray with 23. David Roddy with 23 out of nowhere. The Woodsmen got 22 for Anderson, but nobody else really scored all too well. The Graves was 2 for 10 in this one. Then we notched a close win on the road against Washington, where Paolo drops 27 and 12, and Wheeler drops 20. The Woodsmen, though, got 34 from Carney. This guy is really making some plays, and this is before Halliburton got hurt, or it might have been that exact game where he got hurt. I think it was, because Halliburton played less and Carney played a bit more than he usually would. But 34 points off the bench, incredible performance. Anderson also played well. And again, nobody else really did a whole lot on the offensive end, but still had some contributors around the entire team. And this was the first of one of those close losses against a very bad Utah Jazz team. They are like 11-32 or some horrible record along those lines. And we had better overall scoring from the squad in terms of like spreading the ball around, but nobody had a great offensive day, and a couple of guys shot less well than you would like Carney in his first start, going 5 for 19. The Jazz got 28 from RJ Barrett, and that's pretty much why they won. We bounced back by blowing out Philadelphia on the road. Tyrese Maxey dropped 17 to lead the way in scoring for them. The Woodsmen got 29 for Anderson. Carney drops 26 on a much better shooting day. Keldon Johnson and Bol scoring double figures, and Payne had 19 rebounds. Then another blowout, this time against the Pistons, where Cade Cunningham and Wendell Anderson are the only guys to score in double figures for Detroit. The Woodsmen got 32 for Carney, who's been doing really well scoring-wise as a starter. Anderson drops 32 as well. Keldon Johnson contributes off the bench, as does Zet, and Payne once again rebounds the ball very well. In Halliburton's return off of the left knee injury, we win by 2 on our home court. Anderson drops 30, while Bol, Keldon Johnson, Don Payne, Carney, and Halliburton all contribute on the offensive end, scoring in double figures. Payne and Halliburton did not shoot as well in this one, but still, he passed the ball well. Payne boarded well, so good to see that. Portland got 24 from Bones Highland, and some scoring from Soto, Poole, Balestrieri, and Williams. Then we took down the Knicks once again, but not by 73, only by 11 this time around. Kristaps drops 21, Rivera drops 14. The Woodsmen get 20 plus from Anderson, Halliburton, and Bol for one of the first times this season, while Carney drops 15 off the bench and Payne drops a double-double. We then took a very close loss at home against the Pelicans. They outscored us by 5, or well, rather, we outscored them by 14 points to try and mount a comeback in the fourth quarter, but it fell short by 5. Halliburton, Anderson, and Bol once again all dropped 20 or more, while nobody else had more than 10. The Pelicans got 24 from Sharp, 20 from Murphy, and it looks like Zion is either not in New Orleans anymore, or he was hurt for this game, but we still lost. We bounced back by defeating Dallas by 25. Dyson Daniels won us shy of a triple-double, and it looks like Dallas has Zaire Williams. I thought that was Zion for a moment, but he dropped 16 points. The Woodsmen got 30 and 12 for Halliburton, 28 for Anderson, and 19 from Bol. Those three guys are having a pretty good stretch as a trio. Looks like Carney shot the ball pretty well, as did Payne, and another good win. But then in our second matchup against Boston, another close one, but this time they take it on our home court. So we won on the road against them, and they win on the road against us. We lose by 5. And it looks like it was just the result of a slow first quarter. Anderson dropped 16 points. Nobody else had more than that. A lot of guys scored in double figures, but definitely not a box score that you like to see. Payne shot poorly, as did Halliburton. The Celtics had 30 and 11 from Luka, 21 for Tatum, and 20 from Lawrence Hall. So their starters all stepped up. Jalen Duren, a pretty big double-double. So, yeah, their 5 starters really carried the way this time. Then we took down the Heat by 13 points. So they are a pretty good team this year, very similar to the Celtics record. Harrow and Bam dropped 20 or more. The Woodsmen got 29 and 13 for Halliburton, having a pretty good stretch. Bol drops 22, Anderson 18 points, but he shot well. While Keldon Johnson, Graves, Payne, and Carney also dropped double figures in points. And another nice win here. Then we took down the struggling Suns, who were 14 and 30 when they were a playoff team last year. And they kept Copeland, they kept Booker, they kept Aiden. I'm not sure what's going wrong in Phoenix, but it's not going well. Copeland drops 23, Booker drops 17. The Woodsmen got 32 and 9 for Anderson, 18 for Bol, a double-double for Halliburton, and double figures for Murphy, Graves, Carney, and Zet. Payne only 6 points and 11 boards, but only took 6 shots, so he also fouled out at the 25-minute mark. And finally, we are coming off a win against the sub-500 Nuggets, thanks to a pretty much a strong fourth quarter. Came out on top by less than 15 points, but Anderson drops 34, one of his better days this season shooting-wise. Bol drops 20, Keldon Johnson 19, while Halliburton gets a double-double. Payne only 4 points this time, but he does get 16 boards, including 8 on the offensive end. The Nuggets had 31 for LaMelo this time around, definitely his best game against us this year, while Jokic drops 24 and 9. So that will take us into a nationally televised game against the Spurs for a WCF rematch after the craziness that happened last year in the playoffs. I have no idea what to expect in this game, besides that it's probably going to be very, very close. That's my assumption. But quick set update for you guys is that Anderson is still shooting lights out over 51% from the field, leading us in scoring. and he's also shooting well from 3 at 45%. Halliburton is shooting very well from 3, as is Joel Carney. Bol is shooting well from 3. Cody Johnson is doing all right from out there, and Azette is also shooting lights out from beyond the arc too. Halliburton is currently averaging 1 more point and 1 more assist than he was last year, and he's shooting much better overall, so he's just been a much improved version of what he was last year. Carney has been very good. In fact, he has got his field goal percentage all the way from 40% up to 44 at this point on the year, and he's up to 13.8 points per game thanks to the 3 starts that he had and a couple of nice offensive games. Bol has stepped up in recent weeks, having a larger role on the offensive end, and Payne is doing what Payne does, 12 and 13 average. That's what we've come to expect from him. Cody Johnson, 12 points off the bench and shooting well too. So all good from the guys that are currently playing, and I can't really complain at all. The Spurs, meanwhile, are relying on Calvin Gordon to lead the way, same as last year, and their duo of Calvin Gordon and Shea is always a tough one to face. We know all about them at this point, and they kept around a lot of their playmakers from last year with Orlando Batista, Josh Christopher. I believe they had Jalen Smith last year as well. They had Poku last year. They had Trey Murphy. It's a very similar team. They still have Hickson, but he's not playing as much as he was, but he's still getting some playing time. But it's pretty much the same team that we faced last year in the playoffs, with I think 1 guy missing. I can't recall who it is exactly, but I think they're missing like 1 player that was a big guy last year. But yeah, they're still pretty much the same team as they were, and they're looking really good this year, which is why they are currently leading our conference with their record at like 34 and 10. And it looks like Gordon, Shea, Batista, Christopher, and Jalen Smith specifically are all shooting very, very well. Calvin Gordon is looking for another MVP type of season, while Shea is putting up better numbers than Halliburton is, and points and assists somehow, which is crazy. So for the game plan for this matchup, I obviously would like Graves to guard Shea, because I feel like he could really lock this guy down. We saw what he did against Scotty Barnes last episode. He was fantastic. And for Calvin Gordon, you know exactly who's going up against him. It's Don Payne. We're going to see if we can lock those guys. I'm not going to make too many other adjustments for defense specifically, because I pretty much do that for the playoffs only, but I like to do matchups during the regular season because those are still important. So I'll save here so that we have the game plan saved against them, and now we can go on the road to face them. But before we do that, one last thing is that Graves has gone up 2 overall points. He was at a 79 to start the year, and he's already gone up to an 81, so he's just having more improvement as the year goes on. I love what I'm seeing from his development, and I am specifically training him for individual training to do outside shooting and mainly, so he can get better at 3-point shooting and mid-range scoring as well, because he's in a great spot for defense, and if he can just get a little bit better at shooting, this guy can be a really good 2-way player for us. In fact, after maybe 2 or 3 years, could be one of the better 2-way players in the entire league. So he has a great outlook for his future, and he's really taking advantage of the role that he's been given, because last year, we all know this if you kept up with the series, is that he had a pretty bad rookie year, which is why he went down to the G League for most of it. But last year, I mean, he did not get a whole lot of playing time, but he shot poorly. He was not hitting threes at all, and he was good on defense. Sometimes wasn't as consistent as he is now, but playing pretty much twice as much, and he's making a huge impact on the court. But yes, it is time to face the Spurs. It's a nationally televised game. The two top 3 teams in the Western Conference, and a rematch of the WCF. Here we go on the road to face the San Antonio Spurs. We are at the AT&T Center in Texas as Payne wins the tip over Gordon. Vancouver starts with the ball. I would imagine these fans really want them to win this game for a taste of revenge because of what we pulled off in last year's playoffs. Graves, open tray to start us off. No dice. Murphy feeds Gordon, mismatch against Graves right there. Not sure how that happened so quickly on the first play, but his first shot is off the mark. And right now, Don Payne leads the entire league in rebounds per game with 13.1. That is fantastic. Halliburton in the open triple. That one's good to start us off in terms of scoring. 10.6 assists per game on the road. A rate of 49%. Fantastic passing this year. Even better than last year somehow for Halliburton. Shea misses the shot at the rim, but Gordon's there for the board, and they call goaltending on Don Payne. Screen from Payne. Halliburton, decent look for mid-range jumper. No, but Payne's there on the glass. Way to follow the shot. Alexander finds Gordon, and he's blocked by Bobo. Look at that defense, man. Supposed to be Payne on him, but still a great play right there on defense by Bobo. Would have never thought that he would be blocking Calvin Gordon, especially this early on. Payne working down low against Trey Murphy. He will lay it in for two as we jump out to a quick 5-point lead. Double screen action for Shea. We cover this one well. Kicks it back out, but we recover nicely. Graves still attached to him. Locking him down. Blocked by either Graves or Payne. One of the two, but both guys were there. Anderson, open look top of the key. That one drops, and we are off to a hot start. For some reason, Anderson is just having a much better time on the road scoring. Averaging about he is averaging exactly 5 points more on the road, which is strange. As Josh Christopher knocks down his first shot there in the corner. That was a wide open look. Good response. Anderson got the switch to Gordon. He will fire, and he draws the foul. I'm surprised he went up for that, but we'll take the foul call any day of the week. First free throw is up and through. And the second one should be good as well, and it is. It's 12-5. Shea attacks, throws it up, and missed the shot. Graves so far has locked him up. Now Graves steps back and pulls the trigger, but that mid-range jumper is off the mark. Now we got a mismatch of Bobo guarding Alexander. Let's see if we can switch off this somehow. We don't do it there, but that was the perfect chance to do it. And now Bobo blocks Alexander's shot. Look at this defense right now, man. This is beautiful. Mismatch down low for Payne. Halliburton sees it. Once again against Trey Murphy, but Payne took a bad shot that time. Got to back him down next time around. Christopher, contested three off the grab. No dice, and Payne rips it down. Mismatch down low for Payne again on Alexander. And this time we'll get to the rim and score, but that was some good defense too. Good start though. 9-point lead in the first 5 minutes of action here. The screen from Gordon. And then a pass out of a shot from Christopher to find him on the roll. Anderson, open shot. Misses at the charity stripe, but Payne's there on the glass again for two. Gordon has it jarred loose, and Graves scrambles for it and eventually gets to it. He fought off Gordon and SGA for that ball right there. The hustle, the defense, the hands. Love seeing that. Now Anderson gets the feed, and now he lost the ball, and SGA ends up with it. So we give it right back to him. Shea gets by Anderson and leads it in at the rim as Halliburton was just a second too late to help. They tried to attack it as soon as Graves was no longer on him. Halliburton for three, off the mark, but Payne tips it back in. We're seeing a lot more offensive rebounding nowadays since that Celtics game. After a Spurs timeout, Tommy Sanders, Batista, Hickson, and Poku all check in, while Calvin Gordon stays out there as Poku's first shot off the bench is off the mark. As we brought in Vando and Keldon Johnson, and Vando was fouled on the pass there from Anderson as Batista Last 3 games, they just put Vando on there. That's the wrong guy. What's going on here? Production, come on. A 23.3 points per game for Orlando Batista the last couple of games. Not sure why that is. Just having a good week, I guess, off the bench. First free throw, though, drops for Vando. Second one is up and good as well. He's a really good free throw shooter. And now Carney checks in in place of Anderson for the rest of the quarter, most likely. Gonna watch about 1 more minute, probably 1 more defensive play and 1 more offensive play. Gordon, top of the key triple. Rattles out, but Sanders is there for the board and the putback. Payne, top of the key. And he shows Calvin Gordon how it's done. Come on, man. If he could just get just a little bit better at 3-pointers and he can knock those down, you know, regularly, then Payne could be a triple threat, honestly. Hickson for 3, responds right back, and it's back to a 9-point game, but that is our cue to move ahead, up 23-14 early on. Just under 8 to go in the second quarter, as right now this Vancouver offense just cannot be stopped. Graves almost got the steal, tried to jump the pass, but it got through to SGA, and he knocks down the shot to make it a 13-point lead. 53-40 is your score. We're looking really nice out there right now here in the first half. Halliburton for 3, knocking it down off the screen from Payne. 18 points here in the half, and 13 have come in the quarter. So that was our first look at this, I guess, offensive stretch that Halliburton's put together to start the quarter. Corner 3 for SGA in response. Screen from Bobo. Halliburton attacks. He's doubled, and the shot is blocked out of bounds by Alexander. Graves has it. He inbounds to Jalen Smith on the other team. Come on, man. The inbound passes, I just don't like him at all. For us and for the CPU. Step back 3 for Shea. That one's good as well. That cuts our lead to 10. Anderson gets the pass from the elbow. Knocks it down for the 2 points. Shea trying to attack the basket, and he scores and got the foul, this time on Graves. Against great players like Shea, that'll happen from time to time. That was still, before the foul, good defense. The free throw is good, and now Shea has had like 3 to 4 straight plays of dropping 3 points or more. So let's just, you know, slow them down a little bit. Anderson for 3. Good chance at it. Missed it. Tipped back out, but Hickson's there. That was a wide open look from downtown, which should go most of the time, you would have to think. Shea finds Hickson. His triple is up, and it's good. It's the WCF all over again, man. Halliburton. Open shots from deep. That one rolls around the rim like 6 times and then bounces out. Fast-paced basketball going on. Jalen Smith wide open 3. Come on, dude. It's raining triples. We are coming out of a timeout after this run by San Antonio. Azette checks in. Bobo is in there now. I think he was already in there before, but all guys out there as starters except for Halliburton, who obviously was replaced by Azette, as Payne goes to work on Gordon drawing the foul. The free throw's coming up to hopefully end this slight cold spell for us. Still plenty of time to go in the half, and we're already about to reach 60 points, but this run by San Antonio is concerning. But honestly, this game was going to be close regardless of what was going to happen, because they're one of the best teams in the conference. And it was a very close WCF last year, and I would assume it's going to be as competitive this year. Graves called for a reach in here, drawn by Hickson. Whatever. They inbound it. Jalen Smith to Hickson, over to Christopher. Shot clock under 10. Back to Smith. He's got Bobo on him. Under 5. Smith to Christopher for the contested triple. Thank God he didn't hit that. He hit plenty of those against us last playoffs. I don't want to see any more of those contested threes going in here. Azette attacking Murphy, throwing up the floater, and he got it. That's a tough one. Both teams have shot under 60%, but just under it, which is very impressive for both teams. Christopher finds some open space, but that one hits back iron too. Bobo to Azette. He steps back and pulls the trigger, but his jumper's off this time. Up ahead to Hickson. He steps back and fires for three. That would have been a great shot if that would have gone in, but it just misses. Screen from Bobo. Graves for three. Rattling out. The offense has definitely stalled the last couple of minutes, and we're not currently getting number 5 involved. So if we can get him there, then I feel like we can step things up on the offensive end the remainder of the half. That's another three won't fall for Christopher. Up ahead to Anderson. He's got Hickson guarding him, so it's a mismatch, but he lost his dribble. We go to Bobo instead. He fires over Smith and lays it in. Graves guarding Hickson. He steps back, trying to fire another three, but now both teams have gone cold from beyond the arc. Bobo off the pass from Graves. Knocks it down from deep. That'll push our lead back to double digits, folks. It's 67-55 with 2:38 to play. Out of the Spurs timeout, Carney checks in with Keon Murphy and Keldon Johnson. That shot falls for Hickson. He's got 15 first half points, 75% from the field. What the hell's going on? I guess that's why they've almost got 60 points. I thought we had a good start on defense, but it's quickly gone the other way. For both teams, in fact. As that time counting down, has to force the shot from deep, and that one hits back iron. Poku pulls it down as he is checked in along with Batista. Christopher, a quick trigger on the other end, and that one falls. They cut our lead back to 8. Murphy hands off to Keldon Johnson. He attacks the rim, getting by Poku for the easy lay-in. Poku attacking Keldon Johnson, and he draws the foul. That's his first. 83% from the line this year is Poku, averaging just over 10 points per game. And his free throws are both good as Vando checks in for the Woodsmen to round out the guys here in the first half. Azette gets the feed. Thought twice about the three. Now goes to Vando out of a shot. Now it's Murphy pulling the trigger, and he misses that one. I don't really like him taking jumpers. Batista inside. Can't finish through the contact. That was Keldon Johnson and Vanderbilt there on the stop together. Carney attacks the basket. Reverse layup off the mark. Would have loved that to go. And now Hickson gets down low, and Carney can't stop him. He's too quick for him. They have cut our lead to 6. KJ to Carney for the deep three. That one's off. Batista finds Hickson for the open shot, and now it's a three-point game again. We have let them right back in this game when we had good control for a while. Last shot of the first half goes for the Woodsmen here in this barn burner. Carney has space, open three, but he can't respond, and the first half ends with a Vancouver lead of 3, 69-66. All right, start of the third quarter. I'm not going to sim ahead this time. I just want to see how the starters do to start the half because it's a very close affair. So, going to see more of the guys that we're used to, but I think it's important for us to see where we are against this Spurs team as Bobo blocks the shot, but they get it back, and he missed the shot, thank Christ. You saw that one too many times where they scored off a block from us and got the offensive rebound last year, and I want to avoid that kind of thing happening. Bobo comes over for the screen. Anderson, pump fakes. Could have shot there, and it would have been a fine idea. Now we go back to him for the three-pointer, but it's off the mark. And we have just not shot well from downtown, man. And we got the offensive board, and then we just lost the ball somehow. Murphy, quick trigger, missed it again, but he gets right back to it. And they said that's out of bounds on us. Come on, man. Murphy inbounds to Jalen Smith, and he throws it right to Todd Graves, who gets the steal. His awareness on defense has just been spectacular this season. He's been great from that end. Anderson, long two, open shot, knocking it down. The first points of the half. Christopher, top of the key, knocking it down. I don't like playing against this guy or this team. It's always stressful. Anderson cuts. Bobo finds him. Working on Christopher down low. Go up, man. Don't pass out of that. And now Shea jumps the pass from Bobo. Fast break. We're tied at 71. What changed between now and like the halfway mark of the second quarter? Because that's been where they've gone on their run. Anderson misses the open jumper, and the Spurs have a chance to go out in front for the first time, I think, in this game. Jay gets down low, fires, and scores to put San Antonio in front. I simply need guys to hit their shots and not turn the ball over on the inbound pass, as we almost did right there. But a chance for us to score and just get the offense something to go with, because we've not started off this quarter in a good way. Anderson for the contested three. Finally gets one to fall from out there, and it puts us back ahead by 1. I want to see more of that, because we really have not shot the ball all too well from deep in this game. Although I have not checked the actual stat. Shea trying to go ISO mode against Graves. It's not going to work, pal. I'm just warning you. You should not be trying this. They pass out of it. Murphy for the triple. Come on! This team just really... They just really give me issues. I gotta be honest. Halliburton with space. Hits the mid-range jumper, and we're tied. 20 points for him. And Hickson had 20 off the bench. 8 for 10. Now we're going to double team SGA, but God knows why. Smith for 3, missed it, thank God. Graves pulls down the board, a chance for us to get ourselves back in front by at least a bucket. And there is a mismatch with Payne against Alexander if we can find it. We're going to go for a screen for Graves, though. He will not pass to him, but he will hit the shot. I'll take it. Shea doubled again, and Smith leaks to the rim. Can we stop double teaming? Can you just let Graves go to work on the defensive end? He does not need the help. I promise you, Bobo. And I can't stop us from doing that. I just don't have the option to, as Halliburton rattles home a 3. Definitely having one of his better games that we've watched this season. And he's shooting well from beyond the arc, it seems. We're barely in front. This is just like the playoffs last year, man. Smith misses this time. Halliburton leaks out, gets the feed, and this time won't hit, but Payne's there on the glass to just clean up the mess. That was a good shot as well. That was a good play call. I like the shot as well. Alexander still guarded by Graves. Has to pass out of it. They go to Smith now, back to SGA. ISO mode against Graves. He's a great defender. Tough shot, but it's good. What a play. That is, I mean, that's unguardable right there. That kind of a shot. Payne over Gordon. Can't knock it down. That's not a good look. Alexander, mismatch against Anderson, and it's not really because of the hype, but because Anderson is not a good defender. It's just got to be honest with you. Especially against a player of SGA's caliber. I just don't understand how that happens. How do we get to a point where it's like a set half-court offense and we can't get Graves matched up against SGA? I mean, now he's no longer in the game as Carney checks in along with Vanderbilt and Keldon Johnson. So I'm going to have to switch something there, but just got to get Graves against SGA every time that he's there on the court. So tie game, shot clock winding down. Halliburton finds Murphy for 3. Is he a stretch 5? Holy crap. Before I forget, before I let anything happen, same thing as the Scotty Barnes situation from last episode, I am going to immediately assign Vanderbilt to guard Alexander, so that we can avoid any mismatches. We're not going to have the matchup here, but we will have it next possession as SGA has a free pass to the rim. 24 points for him. The point guards are battling back and forth right now. Halliburton off the screen. Mid-range jumper rolls around the rim and out. Come on. That's got to go in. And now we almost get a steal. They get it back. How does this happen? How does what should have been a steal turns into a 3-point play? This team, this Spurs team, just turns random shit into something. Like, that was a shit possession that turns into something, man. That pisses me off. Spurs back ahead by 2. My cholesterol always goes up playing this team, man. Gordon Johnson gets the feed, throws up a tough one. I don't love the selection there for the shot, but he does not like the foul by Sanders. The free throw is off the mark. Come on, Keldon. We need every point that we can get right now. We're in a dogfight. You can't go 0 for 2. Come on, man. Shea blocked by Keon Murphy. Great defense right there. Haven't seen one of those kinds of stops since the first quarter. And now Keldon Johnson almost turns it over, and Murphy's blocked. How did Sanders beat him to the rim? Come on, he was behind him. This is aggravating, if you can't tell. Mismatch down low for Gordon. I give up. It's a 4-point lead for San Antonio. And that right there is our cue to sim ahead with a quarter and change left. Before we jump into the fourth quarter, there's about 10 minutes left. I'm going to put Graves back on SGA because Graves is now in the game in place of Vanderbilt. When we jump in, 10:05 to go. It's the same deficit. 4-point lead for the Spurs, 95-99. And we got to come out on top. This is a pretty big matchup to have as Payne is called for the foul. 27 points for SGA. Looks like Graves has not had as much of an impact as we would have liked. I mean, we saw at least 3 missed shots from SGA there in the first quarter with Graves on him, and he's missed only 2 shots since then. So there's an example of what's happening in this game as we turn the ball over. Come on. How do you not make that pass sooner, man? You don't usually make bad passes like that this season. But a 6-point lead now for San Antonio and a chance here to increase it even more. Lob attempt right to Don Payne. Way to snatch it out of thin air. Anderson corner 3 in transition, which falls to cut their lead in half. Murphy to Gordon against Don Payne. He steps out, it bounds off the spin move. I really have not seen Calvin Gordon do all too much here in this game. I'm curious how many points he has. I feel like Payne's done a pretty good job of keeping the ball out of his hands. Halliburton back to Graves. He'll pull the trigger from 3. That one's off, and Calvin Gordon gets to it. Want a better look for probably a better 3-point shooter there. That's not the play that I want. Alexander gets inside, goes to Smith. He fires over 2 defenders and scores. And they have gone up to 53%. We have dropped down all the way to 48%. So both teams have definitely shot worse here in the second half. But we have shot worse than they have now after a really good start to the game. Halliburton for 3 off the screen. Can't knock it down. It'll look good from my angle. Why do we have Halliburton matched up against SGA, man? This is what happens. Come on. Why can we not just have Graves guard SGA? Like, come on. I don't understand why we have different guys matched up on him for no reason. The free throw is good. And their lead's back up to 8. Looks like Calvin Gordon's got 17 points. Anderson feeds Payne down low. He's double teamed. Back to Anderson for the open tray. And it's good again. Here's the matchup. Time to see if it works. Although a screen does come from Smith. We cover it well. Good passing by the Spurs. Are you kidding me? What? Halliburton off the screen. Back to Payne. Nice pass. His shot is in. Nice use there of the pick and roll. 19 points for Payne. Having a great offensive day. The Spurs call a timeout up by 5. Murphy, time counting down for 3. Missed the shot. We're back with a chance for us to close the gap here. Let's go. Double screens for Halliburton. Can't find a passing lane, but he does get inside. Missed the shot. Got the board. Out to Bobo, but he can't knock down the putback 3. Gordon attacks the rim. Bucket and the foul against Bobo is first. Got a couple of those here in the quarter. The one play they don't have Payne in, they attack it, but Gordon missed the free throw. We got to start scoring some points here, man. We've only scored a couple in the entire fourth quarter. Anderson gets the feed. He attacks the Payne and is fouled by Alexander. The Spurs right now are in the bonus for the rest of the game. We're not there quite yet, about 1 foul away until we are there on the bonus. Free throws are both good. It's back to 5. Under 6 to play here in this one. Batista slices through, gets inside, and scores. Bobo just tried to block somebody who was holding a goddamn camera. What was that? Anderson cuts. Bobo finds him at the rim. Fouled again, and that will not put us in the bonus? I thought it would. Maybe not yet. Maybe still a foul or 2 away. More free throws for the number 5, and he will knock those down with ease. Need some stops now as well. Alexander iso mode against Graves. Tough floater. Missed it. Good defense. Halliburton finds Bobo somehow, and he steps out of bounds. Turnover. Christopher gets inside, blocked by Don Payne, and we do get the board on that block this time. Up ahead to Bobo. He gets inside the Payne against Smith. Won't fire yet. He will turn the ball over. Are you kidding me, Bobo? Christopher, wide open 3. There it is, man. Lob attempt for Anderson is up there. The assist goes to Halliburton. Nice pass, but we have pretty much gone to Anderson for all of our points this quarter. I don't think anybody else has scored a bucket except for maybe Payne, as Alexander works on Graves down low and scores, and right now we're just not getting stops, and we're not scoring with consistency. Halliburton turns the ball over. Gordon jumped the pass. This reminds me a lot of those first couple of games in the WCF last year. Very, very similar story. Murphy, the triple. It's good. Unbelievable. This is the first time we have seen this defense get pulled apart like this season. Halliburton back to Payne. His jumper is good. 9-point game, just over 3 to go. Still a chance for us to make our way back in this one, but we got to lock down now and start scoring the basketball like I've been saying. Gordon, contested shot. No dice. Here's our chance. Graves turns the ball over. Right to Jalen Smith. What the hell are they doing differently than any other team that is causing so many turnovers? Now a mismatch down low for Gordon. And he missed the shot. We just got so lucky. Can we capitalize? Halliburton got the switch back to Payne. Open shot. It's good again. 23-16 for Payne, one of his better days on the year. He's outplaying Calvin Gordon, and we're still losing. Alexander finds Smith over Bobo. What a finish! That's so contested. Halliburton to Anderson. He's covered well on the outside. Screen from Payne. That one's covered too. Attack the basket. Bucket and the foul on Gordon. Big play right there from Anderson, who has made these kinds of plays time and time again against the Spurs. The free throw is good. 6-point lead, still a chance. Christopher attacks, missed the shot, and Anderson gets the stop and the board. Halliburton step back, jumper, no good. It's not a bad shot either, and we fail to read the upwards pass. That could have been an easy steal, but they hang on to it. SGA misses the shot. Still a chance. Gotta make these next shots count. Graves attacks, gets by 2 defenders, and hits the reverse. There it is, man. That's what I'm saying. More plays like that, please. We're just going to watch the rest of this one without any cuts, I think, unless there's a timeout. Christopher finds Murphy in the corner. He's double-teamed. They pass out of it well. Smith for the open 3. Missed it. It's tipped out. Christopher gets the board. Come on, man. And then we foul him. No. No, why? He threw it right to Anderson. Why do we just foul? Come on. I don't understand that. Now it's going to be really hard to win this game. The free throws are both good. We call a timeout. 10 seconds separate the shot and game clock. We need a quick 3, a lucky break at the charity stripe, or a quick stop, and then another quick 3, and we force overtime. That's the only chance I see for us to win this game, and we're taking too much time on this possession. We need a 3. This is not a 3. Graves for 3. Missed it. Tipped out. They get it. No shot clock left. We foul. This game's over. The defense collapsed. We know the Spurs have a very high-octane offense, and we just couldn't stop them today. And the offense slowed down in the second half and just could not find their rhythm once they lost it. Anderson for 3 to finish things off. It's good, but it's too late. Spurs inbound. We're going to foul one last time. It was a barn burner for sure, but man, we could have played so much better in this game. The offense ends up, having a good day overall, but the second half we just really weren't as good, and the Spurs were really good, and they won for a reason. 128-121 is their final score. The Spurs get their revenge here on their home court. This could be a preview of another WCF matchup. And if so, I think we're in store for another long series, because this was a very close and competitive game right here. I mean, dude, if you told me this right here was a box score from last year's playoffs, I would have said, yeah, no shit. This is like tit for tat what we had to go through in last year's WCF, man. Look at this box score. SGA 31-11. We can't guard Josh Christopher. We just can't do it, regardless of who's on him. This time it was the same guy that was on him last year, Anderson. We just can't stop this guy, man. And he's a big reason why they won the game. Hickson off the bench did not even show up in the fourth quarter, and he had 20 points, most of which came in the first half. And that was a huge reason why they clawed their way back in to end the third, or the second quarter rather, and take the lead there in the third. And we just couldn't bounce back from them taking the lead. We just couldn't do it. So 20 plus for 4 different players on San Antonio. And nobody really played all too poorly except for Batista and Poku, who both shot relatively poorly. But otherwise, the team was great. Anderson drops 33. Halliburton had 25 and 12. Payne had 23 and 17. All 3 guys were really good. And, I mean, nobody else really was for us. Keldon Johnson, I guess, played well, but we didn't really see a whole lot of that. 13 points off the bench, which is pretty solid. Bobo, though, 3 for 7. Carney, 1 for 8. Stiffly has had some off games. Graves, only 3 for 9. Keon Murphy, 1 for 3. Azette, 1 for 5. Just could have used some better shooting from the role players and some better defense overall. And a tough loss to take it because it does make things a whole lot tougher for us in terms of the running for the 1 seed. Because now we're 4 games back instead of 3 with this loss. So, you know, it was a very tight game. But kind of like the story from last year, we just did not shoot as well from 3 as the Spurs did. And that really was the difference. You could say that it's the points in the paint, but really it's the 3-point shooting. Like sure, we hit the same number of threes as they did, but if you take more, you don't want to make as many threes as the other team if you take more. It's just simple math. It's simple basketball. Paint defense could have been better, and we could have passed the ball better. We rebounded very well, actually more than they did, but those turnovers at the end, man, for some godforsaken reason, in the 4th quarter against the Spurs, we just turn the ball over no matter who's on this goddamn team. It pisses me off. It's so obnoxious, and I just can't figure it out. Like, we probably had 3 to 4 turnovers before the 4th quarter, and then we had like 5 in a row. Why does that happen? I have no idea. But again, another close loss by less than 10 points. That's been the story the last month of the year. The losses come in really close games. And they've all been against teams that are competing, except for the Jazz one. But the other 3, our last 3 L's, have come against teams that are heavily competing in their respective conferences. Now we have another tough one against the Cavaliers, who are actually only 2 games above 500, believe it or not. Then we have one against Portland. And, yeah. I think next time we're going to watch this game against the Sound. But again, a tough loss to take. A bit of an eye-opener that our defense still is not going to be perfect. It never is going to be. But you're seeing some offensive and defensive lapses there in certain moments. And they're just showing why the Spurs are going to be a tough team to beat as they were last year. That is all from me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. And I will see you guys next time as we head back home to take on the St. Louis Sound.